All right. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's got some questions today. Let's see, wait for a few more people to get in. If you're already in the chat, go ahead and drop something down in the comment box. Let me know if the lighting or audio is crazy. Oh, goodness. Play with this mic a little bit. Is that a little better? Sounds like it was a little overpowering before. What's up, WoW guy? Hey, Mark. How's it going? Is this still good as far as the audio goes? Awesome. Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2022. Year of the 22 is what I'm talking about. Oh no, I'm going to mess these all up. Is it Harold? Let's see, we got Bobby, Harold, Bansum, Lego. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name here. Let's see. Awesome. What's up, Unforgiven? What's going on, MXJ? So you might hear a little bit of noise in the background so early than we normally do this, but so the kids are up and they're out rampaging and the dogs and everybody. But yeah, so I did some lot testing today. That was pretty interesting. The lot testing was, I don't know, kind of crazy. I got 7 lots of match, 7 lots of 10X. I shot both of those, and actually what I ended up having here was better, so that's kind of how that goes sometimes. But yeah, it's like $250 worth of lot testing ammo, and basically it'll turn into practice ammo. So what's going on, Andy? Chris Beck, what's up, brother? JR Boggs. Sigu 1982 is from Spain. Awesome. Nice to have you, man. We got Zumbayo, maybe that's how you pronounce it, from Macedonia. Nice. All right. Andrew with a question early. I have not. So I contacted him months and months and months ago, maybe almost a year ago now, and was going to get a trigger. Wanted to put it on the channel, kind of do a test of it, review it, see how it was. And he kind of stopped following through with me. And I know he's a one-man show and he's busy. He's like 6 months out right now. But I haven't tried one of those triggers. I've heard good things. But I'm a single stage guy anyway. So the Timney single stage is really pretty excellent. So I'm not sure that I need anything else. Let's see. Again, what distance do you test at determine what? So I do all my lots initially at 50 and basically just look for if they're grouping or not. And then I'll kind of pick out the front runners from the 50. I'll take those to 100 and shoot them and see how they perform. If they're still good at 100, then what I'll do is go ahead and put the magneto speed on. I'll check the SD of the ammunition while I'm shooting groups at 100. But typically the determining factor is going to be the 100-yard grouping and the SD of the ammo. What's up, Tim? Robert Hardy, what's up? Ron Lloyd from Canada, nice having you. Let's see. Just got on. Happy New Year's. Let's see. When you practice these hand shoots, why do you not try one? Honestly, I want to try an hand shoots. I was going to maybe tinker with the idea of getting a 1710, but I think for what the action is, they just want like a ridiculous amount of money, and it's just too much money for me to get into one. Now, if I find one that's affordable at some point, I'll probably get an Anshoots just to try because I know they're good rifles. Let's see. Just lot test Ely semi-auto for 1020 to 10 box of 10 is coming tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, I got 7, and I just got mine today. So it was like they delivered today, which was crazy. It was FedEx. Delivered today, and I initially started shooting it today and got lucky with a win, but it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot worse. The match, Ely match I have right now is really freaking good, so it's going to take quite a bit to beat it out. Show us some Manor stocks mod you did. So I can't show you because of I can't touch a rifle on a live stream. But I'll do a video. I've had several questions about that, and basically you can see it. You can see it in the video. Let's see if I can point right there. That Athlon is missing the cheek riser, and I put that on the manners. It's not super hard to do, but it's definitely, something you could do and very easily mess up a good stock if you're not careful. What's up, Magical Amazing? You got Ken from Georgia. Yeah, it's cold's moving in tonight, so we're actually gonna, I think, get our first snow of the year tomorrow, but it'll be like in the 30s. I got some filming to do, but it'll be supposedly partly sunny in the evening. That's what I'm counting on, and windy. But luckily for the video I need to do, wind won't much matter. I just need the sun more than anything else. You need me to kick your fanny with iron at 25. I'm not saying it's not possible. I've had my butt kicked plenty. Let's see. James. Buzz D Clown R. So I'm new to 22 long rifle. I have a B14R action on the way. And so where do you like to begin ammo testing brand specific? No. So every rifle, every barrel, every rifle itself is going to like different ammo. Now there's consistently better ammo than other. I would say you need to try Lapua Center X, Midas Plus, Ely Match, Ely 10X, RWS R50, SK Long Range Match, SK Rifle Match. There's a couple more you could try, but basically try as much ammo as you can. You're going to find what your rifle tends to kind of like as far as your chamber and barrel. And when you find a lot that works really well, then buy a bunch of it. Now, with the SK stuff, you're not going to be able to lot test, but Ely Match, Ely 10X, Lapua is not going to be possible unless you go to the test center. And you can still do RWS R50. So Ely Match and 10X RWS R50, you can actually kind of lot test yourself just by ordering it by the lots. Let's see. Catch up here a little bit. Have you tested the factory Varmint MTR against factory PVT? The PVT. I guess when you're talking about the original MTR versus the VPT, and yes, and it's really just ammo specific. I mean, it's the same action. Both stocks are good. They're very solid stocks. Obviously, the Manor is a little nicer for other things, but accuracy wise, with the Varmint Precision Trainer, you're getting a 16-inch barrel match chamber. With the MTR, you're getting a 20.5-inch match chamber. It's really just going to come down to the ammo, but accuracy, I would say, is on par. Just a preference thing. What's up, Shaggy? Yeah, you're right. Haven't seen you guys all year. Let's see. Although not much recoil, do you find adjusting the butt pad and tripod improve? Yeah. So the further forward you get the bipod, the more stable you're going to be. It's just like kind of a laws of physics kind of thing. If you put something that hinges here, it's going to be very easy. And whatever input you make in the back, it makes in the front. Now, if you put this lever up here, which would be your bipod, even if you move a little bit in the back, it doesn't move the front very much. So you're inducing less movement on the rifle the further the bipod is forward on the rifle. So if you're shooting off the bench, bipod as forward as you can get it. And the butt pad is really going to be, for your length of pull, your style of shooting. Some butt pads need to be higher, lower. But yeah, the recoil pretty much has zero to do with it in the 22. Oh my goodness, Mark G. You're crazy, man. I looked at those. A bunch of us were talking about them. I just cannot work it out in my head that they want like $2,500 for the barreled action. So I think the pre-order price is what? $3,700 on the Anshoot 1710 MDT ACC. Then you take $1,100 off for the ACC. Value their trigger at say $300. That would be like a Trigger Tech Diamond, which I doubt their trigger is as good as a Diamond, but we'll give it that value. And you're still like way north of $2,000 just on the barreled action, which to me is crazy that that's what they're asking for them. But good on you. If you can grab one, I'd be definitely interested to see what you think about it. What's up, Appalachian? Nice, man. How'd you end up finishing out? There's, well, at least I know an ARA for like the production class. CZ's like rule that class, which is funny because I get a lot of guys who are ARA or bench rest guys who tell me CZs are not competitive and they never win any matches, which is kind of funny because the Virginia State National Champion is shooting a CZ. So there's that. Yeah, I know quite a few. Quite a few of my rifles like the SK long range. I just don't like you can't get it by the lot. What's up, Kamikaze? Nice, man. Yeah, I love some CZs. I couldn't even picture all of them here. There's another one hanging out. And God, I keep finding them for like good deals. And if I keep finding for good deals, I'm going to keep stacking CZ 457s up like cordwood. Let's see, another question. Midnight Jedi. Nice name. New at this. It would be crazy to change my manner stock to yes, you would be crazy. I like the look, function, and cheek adjustment. I hate drill holes and possibly mess it up. Yeah, so don't do that. If you can live without the rifle, call Manners. Tell them you have an OEM 457 Manners. Send them the rifle. They'll install a cheek riser. It's going to cost you about $200. It's going to take them probably a couple weeks, but do not go from a Manners to an At-1. You're not going to be happy, which this should be okay. Let me grab this. YouTube, if you're watching, this is not a rifle. This is just a stock. But we'll use this as a comparison. So this thing is tiny. It's a very short stock. And, of course, I have the, I'm dropping stuff out of it. But I have the cheek riser off of this guy. But even when you pull this length to pull out, let me hide your comment here. Even when you have this all the way out, to me, it's still very short. It's just, to me, this is meant for like a very small person or a youth shooter. But you can get the length to pull. It's just everything is so small. And if you go from a Manners to this, I think you're going to be disappointed. So I would definitely go the route of calling them guys over at Manners and having them put you on an adjustable cheek riser. Let's see, we're just getting started. 22 PR here in Great Britain. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook, actually. First match this month was #1 piece of advice you give to new shooters in PRS. Yeah, new shooter in PRS. If you've got an MOA rifle and a scope you can dial and track with, don't change anything. Don't buy anything. Go to the match. Use the experienced shooters' equipment as far as bags like that. They'll be more than happy to let you do that. Make all your decisions based off of your experience during the match and not what you think is going to work. That'll save you a bunch of money. Hopefully you guys got some good match directors. They'll make or break any matches, obviously. Let's see. FYI, machine numbers for Ely rotate when they clean a machine, so don't rely on a machine number when making decisions. Really? I didn't know that. Because I know, yeah, I don't typically, I used to like try and get close with like whatever machine it was and then thing. And let me grab it. Some people are not going to know what we're talking about here. I don't want to leave anybody in the dark here, but this is an Ely box. On the back here is the load information. So 1021, that's just indicating that this is Ely Matcher 10X. 21 is the year manufacturer. What he's saying is that next number, which is 01, that would indicate the machine number, and then a batch number of 122, focus, 122, and then at the bottom is the muzzle velocity. And definitely don't count on the muzzle velocity because their test barrels are not anywhere near like yours. You are going to get probably 30 feet per second more muzzle velocity out of your rifle than what this states, unless you're running like a 28-inch barrel. But But yeah, so good point. I did not know that. Typically, I stop relying on almost any of that information. In a pinch, I guess you could try and make it work, but I just kind of relot test. What's up, Sean? Thanks for your search. Good luck at 2-4. Nice. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to going. So for those of you who don't know, I go to Warrant Officer School in February through March. Now I'll be working hard this month to kind of film double the videos I normally would, so I can release at least one video a week on a kind of scheduled deal while I'm gone. But yeah, I won't have my phone. I won't have anything, so I'll have like zero contact. I won't have any idea what's going on in the YouTube world. Let's see, what's the Shaggy talking about? I'm doing some load and reload purely for consistent quality. Are you talking about 22 long rifle Shaggy with the cutting edge stuff? Let's see. Oh man, I'm getting behind. I got to roll through these. Where do you get RWS? So Anschutz and RWS are tied together. So if you call Creedmoor, I think they're co-located, but RWS North America is there in Alabama with Creedmoor Sports, and Anschutz North America. You can call them, tell them you want to get a brick for lot testing. They'll send you 10 individual boxes of each lot, and they're really cool to work with. I mean, RWS R50 is expensive, but those guys are really good about that. I don't really buy into it, Scott. I mean, I know a lot of bench rush guys use longer barrels, and they say they kind of smooth out the SDs. I use barrel length strictly for balance of the rifle and what I'm going to do with it. That's why I don't run 16-inch barrels, and why I tell people don't run 16-inch barrels if you're going to shoot PRS or NRL, because once you put a 16-inch barrel in a stock, all your weight is now in the action, the optic, and this buttstock. There's very little weight up here, and it's not extending very far. You're going to have a heck of a time trying to ever balance this to where it will balance forward of the mag well. It's just really, it's going to be impossible with a 16-inch barrel. So you're better off to buy a 20, minimum 18, but if you're really trying to balance a rifle, like this is very well balanced, but I have a ton of weights to do that and a longer barrel. So that's kind of how I, make my barrel length choice. What's up, big country? Oh, man, Richard says his uncle's going to sell his Anschutz maybe. And Appalachian, you bought a 24-inch at one last night. Yeah, there's a lot of ARA guys very successfully shooting at ones. I'm actually... I'm not like crazy surprised, but maybe I can get this. If you can see in here, the inlaying is not very tight. There is no pillars on this either. It's just straight wood. Now, when you go up to the Manners or the MTRs, they're going to have plastic or aluminum pillars in them. That's going to make it more consistent as far as when you're torquing down the action screws. You don't really have to worry about that as much as when you're torquing down wood and the environmental start changing, things can get kind of wonky with wood. So yeah, I was kind of shocked, honestly. Let's see. Would a barrel tuner help cheap ammo do better? Yes, no. So yes, cheap ammo can be made better with a barrel tuner, but you're talking, so there's two different aspects of accuracy that you're looking at. One is the harmonics, so barrel harmonics. That's what you're changing with a tuner. So you can try and tune that harmonic node to make that round a little happier as it's leaving and achieve some accuracy. But if you're getting into the PRS NRL game, or you're trying to shoot out the distance, the lack of good SDs, which is standard deviation and muzzle velocity, is not going to be fixed by a tuner. So Ely match, just about everything at Ely match I shoots an SD of under 10 feet per second. So that's 10 feet per second variance shot to shot. Now, the cheaper stuff may be 30 or 40, but when you get out to like 300 or 400 yards and you're trying to shoot targets, you may miss a target low or high just because your muzzle velocity is kind of going all over the place. So you can fix some things with tuners. I think if you're going to shoot fixed distance 50 or 100 yards, yeah, get a tuner, maybe try some cheaper ammo. And not always is it the most expensive ammo that's going to perform the best. I've seen plenty of cheap ammo perform really well in rifles, especially at fixed distance shooting. But when you're talking PRS or ELR, that kind of changes everything. Almost the priority almost shifts to getting better SDs than having the tightest group, because several times I went with ammo that didn't necessarily group the best, but it held the most accuracy out to distance. So this depends what your game is. I have an AC on the way from around there. Get out of the FedEx purgatory. That's funny. I have a. I think. Are you talking to ACC? I have another one on the way. I don't know when it's going to get here. I think MDT's taking their sweet time. Let's see. Yeah, no, yeah. What's up, buddy? Went shooting with a buddy. Kept complaining he missed his wife, so I have recommended questions per. I gotcha. Yeah, the Athlon's good, man, for the money. In that price range, I don't really think Athlon can be beat. There's some very tough competition, but I think dollar for glass quality and scope quality, the Athlon's hard to beat. Nice, man. 5th out of 25 against the best. Awesome. Is 100 for a brick. 500 rounds of Ely target. Man, I haven't bought Ely target in so long, so that would be 10 boxes. That's $10. That doesn't sound like a good deal. I haven't bought Ely target in a long time, but $10 a box does not sound like a really good deal. But this day and age doesn't sound like a terrible deal. It's kind of on you. I mean, if you jump up from there, obviously you go to Ely Match, you're talking $14 a box. So, do you have GRS rifle stocks over there, and have you ever tried a CZ? No, I have not. The GRS is not very, which I believe, it's a European company. And I know that the Anshoots, I think, come in them. You can order them in them, but I've never tried one. They're not extremely popular here. And honestly, I think you're going to see more about this when we get on in the series for the new rifle build. I think a stock, as long as it's a good stock and it doesn't have issues, it's not going to affect accuracy. So I don't really stress about it. It's more important to me that it fits the function of what I want it to do, whether I want it to be very modular and be able to strap a ton of weights on it and get it to balance perfectly, or if I want it to be a little lighter and have a better feel for like field target style shooting and multi-purpose. That's more important to me than, kind of like what stock it is, because I think all the good stocks are going to basically compete on the same level as far as accuracy out of your gun. Which F3 arrow mount do you use? Can't get enough eye relief on the CZ. So the eye relief on the CZ is going to be a problem no matter what. Luckily for me, I naturally keep my head kind of back on the buttstock of the rifle. So I'm kind of like on the back side of the cheek riser so I can shoot it. But it's just a 20 MOA 34 millimeter mount. It's not anything crazy. Now, if you're having problems with eye relief, it wouldn't be a bad idea to look for a cantilever mount. I think F3R makes some, Spur makes some. That'll get the scope more forward for you. And I mean, you can cheat the rail forward. As you probably see in this one, it's all the way forward on the rail. Like, it can't go any more forward or it'd be hanging off by several inches. But the eye relief can be kind of an issue sometimes. So I think you'd have to order that from XLR. So I bought mine used. Actually came up on a Facebook group for rimfire stuff, and the guy had an XLR 4.0. I bought it from him, which is pretty comical because on the last video I did with all the CZs, I had a guy who's like kind of a known troll to my channel. He came on there talking crap about it would be more impressive if I'd actually bought all the rifles and stocks, which was pretty funny because I have bought all these rifles and stocks. So, but you can't appease the trolls. No, Josh, 5.56, 45, and 9 mil. Dude, I'm scatterbrained. Let me go back up and find your. I know we were talking about something, and I asked you if you were talking about 22 long rifle. Oh, yeah. You're talking about reload. Yeah, I used to load a lot of 9mm when small primers were in existence. I just did it for cost savings rather than like trying to be more consistent. Is it normal for a reticle to seem crooked when looking through your yes? My fan, I'm trying to get lined up. Yeah. So it's very normal for your reticle to look crooked all the time. It's more important that you practice setting the rifle up level and true and just let your body learn that. Because the reticle is going to be perceived to be level or not level depending on the terrain you're shooting. So, you may be looking at kind of like something that's off angle on a hillside, but maybe it's just a few degrees. And so your reticle's going to look not level. If you really struggle with it, the best thing to do is get just go ahead and get a bubble level. Did you use all internal weights? Yes, I used every single internal weight. And then really with this Mirage Shield, you're not supposed to have these here. I kind of cheated the Mirage Shield on because if I did it the way I was supposed to, this front weight wouldn't be there. And the Mirage Shield would be covering like right over top and in between of this back plate. But I need both weights up front to balance the rifle. But yep, I used every single one of them. 16-inch balance with suppressor across the pond. Yeah, if you have a light enough stock, like if you have a really light stock that's, light in the tail end of it, then, depending on your suppressor, the problem is if you remove the suppressor because maybe it's killing your accuracy at distance, now your rifle's not level anymore, and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, I have tried them. My thoughts are, if you're going to do fixed distance shooting, then tuners are worth a shot. I think if you're shooting PRS or NRL where your tarts are all over the place, then you're better off just lot testing and finding something that hammers because, like I said, the ES and SD are going to be more important almost than the accuracy and group size as long as it's, shooting relatively cleanly. 20-inch kid. Oh, my 1020 shoots better with a muzzle brake. I think it's the extra forward weight. Yeah, it could be. It could just be the harmonics deal. That for sure can be a thing. Would have preferred a regular VPT or VC over the At1, but there are no in 24. Yeah, I don't think they. Yeah, well, actually, they do have the one mod, but yeah, I couldn't find them either. They were all 16-inch when I was looking at the Varmint precision trainers. Yeah, we're going to get back out there and do some long distance stuff, especially with the new build. We're going to be shooting that, and we're going to be doing some more competitive stuff and shooting some small targets. Right now, we come into fall, winter time, the wind gets terrible, and it'll back off some, but just kind of waiting on that. I don't want to waste a bunch of time going out there, and then we can't get any good film because the wind's just whipping. Yes. I did try it on some Ely Match, and I tried it on some SK Standard. It didn't help either one of my groups, but those actually shot really, really well out of the box anyway. So, the tuner can help. Even if it has good SD, but if you've got something that's hammering out of your gun 0.2, 0.3 at 50 yards, you're probably not going to improve on that with a tuner because it's probably kind of already at that harmonic node of what it likes as far as speed and all the harmonics in your barrel to shoot that anyway. So you may get lucky and you may tighten it up a pinch, but it's unlikely. Pin would be worth rebarreling Bergara action or just springing for Vudoo or Rim-X. So, you could save money. IBI makes prefits for the for those. And nice seeing you, by the way, Bill. Hope you're going to be at the VOD match, and those matches will catch up for sure. But IBI sells a prefit. I think they're the only one selling prefits for Bergara. I would probably try one of those before you ditch the Bergara. Especially for what we're doing, Bill. I'm not sure what your Bergara does now if you're struggling with it. But I mean, if it's shooting decently and you're just looking a little bit more, you could probably try the IBI and you could probably sell it if you didn't really care for it. There's going to be plenty of people looking for them. Of course, the Vudoo and RimX are nice. You're just going to be spending a lot of money to get there, which, you know, you could probably get a good RimX from Kenny over at Desert Precision Gunworks, or the Vudoos, in my experience, have been good too. Both good rifles, just lots of money. Okay, yeah. So I thought the target was pretty cheap. Thanks for stepping in, guys. Let's see. Try and get caught up here. I'm saving for a match barrel. Lilja Bartland. What twist? Okay. So without having tested the one I have to death, I'm going to say Lilja because it has a match chamber, and the Bartland has a bench chamber, and I'm not a huge fan of bench chambers. And 16 twist. The 16 twist is going to be fine. I'm experimenting with like a 12 twist, but honestly, I don't expect it to be like earth-shattering. There's a crap ton of very well-built Vudoos with Krieger barrels that are 16 twist that are producing unbelievably good accuracy and that's at a distance. I mean, from 50 to 400 yards, like sub-MOA shooting all the way out with a 16 twist. So there's a little talk from Applied Ballistics, and depending who you talk to, so Applied Ballistics is more on the front of it's not going to be like a ton more accurate. What it's going to be is more consistent because they're able to increase the spin rate, which is increasing the stability. So I think what they're implying with that is that when you go around and maybe you shoot a certain density altitude today and a certain humidity, and your gun hammers, and then you go out tomorrow and it's humid as crap or something's changed and the gun shoots like crap, that you're less likely to have that occurring with a 12 twist because it's going to increase the stability factor of that round. I actually don't have any experience with a gray bow. And C-Beck, I will definitely let you know, man. Actually, just hit me up on shoot me a message on Facebook or whatever, and I'll call you this evening, and I'll kind of show you up close and personal what I did because I can't touch it on here. Let's see. I just got a bunch of ammo to test. It's freezing and windy. Yeah, that's pretty common. I skipped a bunch of them. Sorry about that. Let's see. I watched the Astro Class Champ get his rear kicked by a Special Force sniper at 5 rounds shooting 308. Funny. Oh, yeah. I saw that too. I think Eric Cortines would just romp that guy normally, but that freaking that target that they were shooting was crap. The guns were just hitting it too hard. Well, I can't tell you. Then if you know, I won't be able to buy anymore. But on a serious note, the new one I bought from my local gun shop. I bought the Athlon originally from a local gun shop. I bought this one originally from a local gun shop. I got this from my buddy, and man, this was an amazing deal I got from him. It came just basically like it is now. I added the optic, the mount, the heat shield, the external weights. But other than that, it was just a really good deal. When you kind of do a ton of CZ content, you kind of get to know a bunch of people with CZs, and when they decide that they need money more than they need the rifles, they're usually the first one that gets a phone call. Let's see. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually keep forgetting. And so the Vudoo I sold. And a lot of people kind of thought I sold the Vudoo because I didn't like the Vudoo. And actually, I really liked the Vudoo, but the bottom line was I had a ton of money tied up into that Vudoo. So it was in a $1,500 stock, which was the Manners TCS. Had a $300 trigger, and then it was like a $1,600 barreled action. So $3,000, whatever that comes out to be. And I'm pretty much only ever going to shoot Ely. I'm so used to that silver bullet and the benefits of the silver bullet and being able to see that bullet in flight. But that rifle shot every Ely I had like 1130 to 1150. And the problem is when you start pushing a 22 that fast, it stays accurate, but it gets really crazy in the wind. So little shifts in wind cause big changes as far as your wind holds, and it makes it extremely hard to shoot when I'm trying to shoot And I did some side-by-side testing in some 6 to 8 mile an hour wind, and the same ammo and in the Vudoo at 1150 was crazy all over the place. And out of the CZ shooting 1100 feet per second, it was very tame, very easy to be accurate. But I mean, the Vudoo was more accurate. I had shot 0.3 or 0.4 inch groups with that gun at 100. It was pretty crazy, but for the money I had in it, it just wasn't worth messing with that because I know I'm going to shoot Ely. Let's see. Yeah, of course. Like, obviously, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, man. Have you ever seen it? Come on now. Not just messing around. Yeah, the best Christmas movie of all time. What length barrels on your HC minus the muzzle? I think minus the muzzle brake, it's like 20 inches. I think 21 inches. I think if you have an 18-inch barrel, you may come to the very end of it. May not. I can't. I hate this because you can't mess with rifles. Shoot me a message. If you go to my website, just shoot me a message. If you really want to know the length, I'll measure it after this, and I'll respond to your message on the website, and that's pursuitofaccuracy.com. What length barrel? Okay, got that. Shaggy, appreciate it, brother. Man, I keep falling behind. Yes, I have heard of the Deuce Ultimatum. I actually sent them a message. I did not get a reply, but I would like to test that rifle. Looks like it'll be another cool deal. And yep, Kenny's website. If you guys are looking for nice center fire PRS rifles, he also makes Remx's. Check that website out. I'll be at the. Oh, you're going to be there. Okay, nice. Dang, that's a pretty far trip for you. But yeah, I'll be at the February VOD match too. So we'll see you out there. It'll be pretty cool. Let's see. You should do an all check CZ4 and put a Miopta Optica 6 4.5 27 with an MRAD 1. Yeah, I mean that would be kind of interesting, I guess. I can't get an all check because I'm in the States, so if I get a CZ, it's going to be from CZ USA because trying to get, one importer that's actually like a Czech rifle may be kind of hard. But yeah, the Miopta, that would be cool. Just have like an all CZ Czech kind of deal going on. Let's see. Found an MTR but having an issue. Eye relief. Anyone make adjustable butt stock for it? Yeah, I mean honestly, the best one to get is the Victor Titan because it's intended to be screwed down in, but you don't have to. You can use like some double-sided tape to just kind of stick it on there. But pretty much you're stuck with that. There are guys that sell some hardware kits if you're willing to hack into it. But yeah, you're kind of limited on the MTR. And if you're using any kind of like scope base and then, your rings on top or your mount on top, it's going to be kind of hard to get a proper cheek weld. Doug Disler, what's up, man? This now brought home a CZ Forreston Pro. Exciting. Nice. Hope your shoots. Then that one I got, for what it was, it shot 0.3 to 0.5s. I was really happy with that. And at 100, it's like MOA gun. How long does it take your bud to make a Rimx barreled action? So it's more of a supply thing. He's actually has a very fast turnaround. I think right now he has barrels and there are no Rimx actions to be found. But if you hit him up, he can give you an idea when he's going to get in actions. And he's like pretty quick. I mean, his turnaround's not like everybody else's right now. He has a very expedient turnaround. What's the difference with a Czech C? I don't think any difference, honestly. I think they're just the CZ USA is just made here in Kansas. I just think it saves them a lot of money versus trying to have someone import the rifles for them. But I don't think there's any spec difference on the rifles, at least not that I'm aware of. What elevation is your house? Did you notice POI changes at different elevations? Not really. Sometimes I hit some ranges, and let me get my Kestrel. Some ranges I'm always off. Like when I go into the mountains, much higher elevation to VOD, these guys are mentioning it. And my 0 is always off there. Let's see. I think I can go down here in environmentals, and let's see. So density altitude here is 1,770 feet. That's what's nice about having a 5700 Elite laying around. You going to do more friendly with your buddies? Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're going to keep doing those. He got married, and it became wintertime, and the weather's been crap, but he likes to shoot a lot, and I always goad him into doing the competitions, and I think he needs some revenge on me still. I'm still kind of up in the series on him, so we'll but yeah, we'll continue to do those still. No, they say made in Kansas. Pretty sure. Do I have one that's facing the right way? CZ USA, Kansas City, Kansas. So yeah, they say Kansas City, Kansas. I don't shoot suppressed. Now that they're doing the e-file thing and the e-form, I think I'm going to order a suppressor. I would like to just play with on, but everybody I know has suppressors for 22s. None of them run them because we just all know, and these are guys we personally know who have tested this and just found that the accuracy is degraded by the suppressor. One of those guys is the NRL and PRS champion this year. So if you're going to listen to somebody, even if it's not me, listening to the national PRS and national NRL champ is probably a good guy to listen to. Thoughts on I actually like 17 HMR, and a buddy of mine, he's actually been testing it, and he's found some really good 17 HMR stuff. He's shooting a CZ 17 HMR. It's very accurate. Now, I'm mostly a competitive shooter kind of guy, so can't shoot it in competition, but I'm going to get one for sure, because especially since I can just swap out a barrel and a magazine and do that. CZ USA says the imported rifles are still made in. Okay. Yeah, I assume that that there was they were made there. Maybe they just come in and maybe they're just stamped in Czech. Let's see. Is there a CZ outlet cannon? I don't know if there's an outlet. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good one. I found that gun store too because I was looking for somebody for a CZ, and I found this CZ gun store, and it was just a total scam. The website looks very legit. Like, they put a lot of work in the website, but they only accept Venmo, which is like a huge red flag. It's Czech, but also has Kansas City on the other side. Interesting. Well, this one's facing the other way. Yeah, okay. Yeah, mine does too. So it's tagged on both sides. Maybe I guess they're made in Czech, and then when they are going to be imported to the U.S., they just get stamped. Ooh. So yes, the Tract is better than the Aries, but the Tract is $600 more than Aries. So, but yes. So the Tract has the shot glass. The Aries has very good glass, very good reticle. Everything's nice about it. The Tract is just going to be a little bit nicer, a little bit better glass quality, but it's almost $700 more retail for the Tract than the Aries. But yeah, the Tract is freaking amazing. What happened to the Tikka T1X, and we're supposed to do a Tikka build, or just no? So I did a part 1 with a buddy's rifle who competitively shoots with a T1X. We put it in a factory stock. I'm just waiting to get the rifle back from him. He has it in a PDC custom. That was going to be part 2. I'm honestly thinking there's enough people interested in it. I'm just going to buy a T1X when I can find one, and we'll just have another series, and it'll just be the T1X because it's so popular. And I like them. They're nice rifles, but yeah. Under the ejection port. Yeah, mine says the same thing. And then on the other side says Kansas. Let's see. Timney ordered, but the trigger is so much better than my Rebarreling. Yeah. Could you go more in depth answer regarding Athlon Helos Gen 2 42056? They have same internal adjustments. Yeah, I think you had hit me up before. Honestly, it's just a price thing. So the 4 to 20 by 50 is cheaper. The 6 to 24 by 56 is more expensive. The bigger objective on the 56, is going to help you as far as, I think they're the same tube body. The bigger objective, and I'm not a scope scientist, and I know I'll get beat up on a lot. There's more that goes into this, but I think as perceived as a shooter, the bigger objective is going to make it like brighter. So I think, basically we equate that to, seeing more and gathering more light, although it's more scientific than that. But honestly, if you're just going to do if you're doing PRS, I would go 6 to 24 by 56. If you're just kind of messing around, you don't want to spend as much money, I would go 4 to 20. But if money's not an option, I think the 6 to 24 is going to be a better optic. And that's why you see a little bit of a price jump there. Bill asking all the tough questions. So yes and no. So there's the Cronus, there's the Tract. They're different. The Cronus, I don't know. It's so the Cronus doesn't have as nice glass as the Tract. The Tract is a little bit more money, but the Tract is locking, elevation, and windage. Some people aren't going to like that. The Cronus has 2 mils more internal travel. So for some people, the Cronus is like 120 MOA internal adjustment. This is going to be 100 MOA. So that may be a thing for some people. If you're not concerned about losing the 20 MOA and you just want the best glass quality you can get around that $1,600 price point, then the Tract. If you want the extra 20 MOA, and trust me, the glass quality is not huge. It's not like night and day difference. It's just the Tract is slightly better than the Cronus, slightly. I mean, it's hard to tell. But so if you want the elevation and you can't stand the locking turret, then you're going to want to go to Cronus. If you don't mind the locking turret and you want the best glass quality, then go Tract. I can tell you that all the rings, like the magnification ring, the parallax ring, stuff like that, on the Tract is super smooth. I mean, it's very nice. It's like my buddy brought his Night Force over and we were kind of doing a little shooting. To me, it's as nice as the Night Force is. They're like, it's kind of back and forth. The Cronus has very stiff magnification ring and parallax. While it's not an issue, we're being nitpicky, but it is a slight difference. So it's really, that answer depends on what you want out of it. Certainly, I don't think one is just landslide better than the other. It's just they're kind of better at different things. Single best group you have shot at 50. I mean, like 0.1, but it's kind of at that point, like one whole groups. I've shot one whole groups that were like you really couldn't measure. They were just kind of slightly larger than a perfect just one shot, like just kind of breaking the edges up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I haven't shot a ton of those, but I've shot a few. I think everybody, depending on how much you shoot, once you're shooting, you're going to get those. You feel the Cronus good scope? Yeah, the Cronus is an amazing scope. For PRS, especially, the Cronus is really good. And there's one thing I'll talk about in the video. So now, if you're behind the gun on a Cronus, and you'll probably see me doing video a lot, I'll be behind the gun, and I'll go to dial. I'll lift my head and dial. The one good thing about the Tract having that locking turret that's going to be up and tall is that you can have your cheek weld break your shot and just look up and dial. You don't have to come off the rifle. But so the Cronus is a very good gun. The Maiden actually also State USA is a very comprehensive slash. That makes sense. Oh my God. Which would you use? Strike Eagle, 525 or 56 or a Zeiss V4? For shooting, the Zeiss. For hammering nails in, the Strike Eagle. No, the Strike Eagle is good. I'm not a huge Vortex fan, but Zeiss glass is freaking amazing. The Strike Eagle is just not going to compare to that Zeiss glass. Just no way. Yes, very correct. I appreciate it, Luke. Nice. CZ455 owner. No, I was so the cutting edge stuff was going to be a series, but once I got the cutting edge stuff and figured out what you needed to do to make that work, it quickly became a product review. And I really just wanted to put that video out so people would understand you can't have like a $10 or $100 powder scale and be measuring powder for cutting edge bullets and get something that's going to make you successful. So you really need a very high end powder scale. So the testing for me is done. And I think I just kind of moved on from it. Eric, yeah, the Cronus and track, and maybe it's just mine is different than usual, but I find the track to be everything to be smoother than the Cronus as far as the rings and things like that. And my glass quality is slightly better than the Cronus. And you really have to notice the difference. You really have to be peeled into like max magnification and looking like into the woods, and then I'll notice a little bit more clarity or maybe a little bit more, I don't know, it just seems like I see a little more trace, I see a little more definition of things as they're kind of happening in the optic. And Bill's right, yeah, definitely comes down to the individual's eye. I mean, both are really nice scopes. Have you ever done Lapua or Ely factory lot testing or just your own? Yes, I've been to Lapua Test Center. Results were okay. I bought a case of ammo, and then I outshot the results we got in their test facility with the gun bolted down just about every time I pulled the gun out and shot it at my house in person. So while I think it's a good option, I don't think it's the end-all be-all. Do you have any experience with Rhino? I feel like the fact they're veteran, I don't think I put it on my T yet. I have no personal experience with them. I'm not super like ready to like jump off the deep end and try one, because I know some guys who were working with them and won't name their name, but those guys who are working with them feel like they were kind of like, on a marketing level, and as far as like content creator, they were working with Ryton, and it felt like those guys kind of just, they used them to launch their brand and then just are now hanging those guys out to dry. So it doesn't really, I don't really rely on any of the companies like that. It doesn't really sit well with me, and I probably won't ever buy one of their optics. In your opinion, how does the Bergara BMR stack up against a Pro Varmint? And can you expand any strengths? Yeah, so, and this is not just me, and there may be someone's out there, but the BMR is not going to be a competitive base class rifle until they do something different with it. The current configuration, it's just not competitive with the CZ or the Tikka or the other ones. I think if you're buying a BMR to be in base class, you're setting yourself up for a hard road. You're way better off buying a CZ or a Tikka and using one of those, because they're just going to be better out of the box than the BMRs have been. And honestly, for base class, you don't need a lot. But sub-MOA rifle, the better you can get out of the box, the better off you'll be. And you don't really need crazy good glass, especially if you're talking NRL 22 base glass, because now you're shooting only out to 100 yards. But yeah, the BMR just doesn't compete. Yeah, I think one of the groups I measure was like a .093 on the channel. I've had a bunch of them off camera that, but it's kind of like everything else. I'll shoot like a one hole group, and then the next one opens up, and then it gets tighter and it opens up, and that stuff kind of happens. I don't yet have a rifle that I can shoot just one hole groups every time I shoot it. If I did, that would be amazing, but I don't have that. But I have shot some nice little tiny groups. I haven't actually shot the Elements. Maybe somebody else in here has. I know they're good scopes. Reticle and my strike yields just too thick for precision shooting to me. Yeah, and that's going to differ. So I think I can touch the scope here. It says 5 to 25 minus tack. All the reticles are basically the same on the Athlons. For PRS, I like a bigger reticle, something that I can see at lower magnification. Now, for bench rest shooting, you want an ultra fine reticle, 1/8-inch clicks, for MOA adjustment. You want a lot more, fine everything for bench rest. For PRS, I try not to get too fine of anything going on, just because at the end of the day, you just need to hit a target size. You don't need to shoot a 0.1-inch group on that 50-yard target. Yeah, Eric Cortina makes several tuners. I said for PRS and NRL, I don't like tuners, but it's, I don't know. If you're shooting fixed distance, I don't think it doesn't hurt to try one. I'll say that. I don't use them. I've tried them. It's not going to hurt for you to try one. You may lose a few bucks reselling it, but if you try it, you may like it. It may turn around some of your mediocre ammo into pretty good ammo, and that would be worth it. And Chris Beck, you're right. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. You would have to count grains for that stuff. And yes, 455 cannot be shot in the base class or any production class because it's not a current production rifle. They'll only allow you to use current production rifles as far as I know. So, yeah, you really need a scale that can weigh 1/100th of a grain. So 1/10 of a grain is not a fine enough adjustment. And that for centerfire is more than enough. But when you're talking about a load that only has 3 grains of powder in it, 1/10 is not fine enough to get consistency. I do not. They have been out. Good shooting is where I would check, though. When they get it in, they sell it quick, but it's a good deal when they have it. At Vortex, HST, and PST fill, they are darker than they should be at full mag, 24x option. The sunshade is not what's going to cause you to have, I run, sunshades on almost all these. It's just glass clarity. But, honestly, it depends on what you're doing. If you're group shooting and you can deal with it, then, it's fine. You're probably not going to find yourself at 24 power a lot for practicals type shooting other than, target shooting. You need to moderate for me. Okay, I got it, Shaggy. He's got a Diamondback Tactical. That's right. I parted with mine relatively quickly. You're not telling lies. I got RPR. Boy, I messed up. Got 10 rounds through the Varmint Pro. Wow. Trigger don't even compare. Mag so much better. Thank you. Yeah. The RPRs are good, but the CZ is just a better rifle. Love my Element Helix first focal plane. Real clear glass turrets are great, and they have stainless steel mechanicals and dials. Yeah, now I've heard great things about the Element, and some of the guys that I kind of talk to in the industry, especially the air rifle guys, they really shoot a ton of Element optics because they're heavy into the airgun world. It's like the premier airgun optics, or the brand that's marketing more towards that. And I know those guys are really happy with them. I know the guys over Utah Airguns, they sell a lot of the Elements, or I think they're at least selling through them. But yeah, they're really good. And for some reason, how have we caught up? Any experience with SVFA SS? No, I don't. I can tell you from my optics, I went from really cheap optics. And then the first good optic I bought was an Athlon, and that was a very low level Athlon. And then I have just inched myself up as I went to where I'm at now. And it's kind of with glass quality and scope quality, you keep going up slowly but surely, but you never really go back down. There's no way I could go back down to a low end scope at this point after having $1,500-$1,600 optics on these rifles. It's just nearly impossible. Yeah, hey Todd, I have not. Somebody asked that earlier. Actually, tried reaching out to him a long time ago, and we were communicating about getting one for the channel. And then that communication just dropped off, and I followed up. He never responded to me. And now he's like 6 months out. But I've heard they're very, very good, especially the 2-stage, which is kind of what he's known for. I myself like a single stage, and the Timney is going to be very hard to beat. Not saying his can't beat it, but I would think if his is better, it's not going to be by much. Chemi shot, you have to just, oh, nice. Okay, so NRL is going to be different than PRS. So PRS, it has to be a current production model. So once it's discontinued, it's no longer available because they're going to check the MSRP by the current production website. So that's good. I guess you could shoot NRL. And the 455, let's see, came out of production in 2019. So you've got not that long. You got like 10 or 12% per year inflation then, or across all of the years. So depending on what model you have, you may still be able to squeak in there. Let's see. What scope do you recommend for a Tikka T1X21 for shooting metal silhouette, thinking Vortex Venom? I don't know a lot of people with a Venom. I know it checks a lot of the blocks and there's a lot of features. I would just pick a price range you want to be in, whether that's 400 to 600 or 5 to 7, 6 to 8, 7 to 9, whatever, and look at all the competitors and then see what you got. I mean, for basically every Vortex scope out there, there's an Athlon, vice versa. They're competitive in the same market. So those two are always going to have competing optics around the same price range. And one may be a little better than the other, but that's right. It is hard to look through the good stuff and go back to the not so good stuff. Let's see. Yes, they are FX Impacts CZ457. So I can tell you without giving away too much, I'm going to have an air rifle, undisclosed, of what the air rifle is going to be, but it's going to be here relatively soon, and we are going to shoot it against the CZs and at way more than just 50. So we are going to do some really kind of crazy stuff with an air rifle coming up, and towards the latter half of the year, I'm going to actually try and win like an NRL just match overall with an air rifle. I think that'd be cool to do. Let's see. I have a Venom. You got a new 420 price. It's hard to beat. Yeah, that's a good price. You'd have to look at, so I think NRL this year went to like $1,200. So you need to look at what the 455's MSRP was and then add your inflation. I'm not sure what they sold for. Maybe somebody in here will remember. And sorry, Josh, I don't like the diamond. Hey, look, I call that thing the diamond crap. That's the very first scope I bought. Like coming from like really, really cheap scopes, I bought a Diamondback. I hate the freaking turrets on a thing. Every other like company is going to do like, try and get this in frame, 10 revolutions at least. 10 revolutions or 10 mils per revolution on a mil scope. That stupid thing is like 6 or something like that. Like, it's bad enough, that we're out there shooting and trying to figure other things out. You can't expect me to do math trying to figure out how to get to 13 mils, because I go 6 and then back to 0. Okay, back to 6 and then 1 when you could have just went to, 10 and then plus 1, 11. So anything that doesn't have 10 mil per revolution is just kind of out for me. Time to be FX Mark III. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to give it away yet. You guys, you might guess it. You probably won't, but I got to get a scale, Todd, still to weigh that thing. But it's all the freaking weight. It's heavy. It's well over 20 pounds. It's got to be like 21, 22, 23 pounds. I mean, it may be more than that. I don't know. It's freaking heavy though. Actually, I would say on a guess, probably 20 pounds, 21 pounds, but it is heavy. Is the Arken SH4 all hype or is it a decent budget option? I haven't shot one. I've heard mixed reviews. A lot of the reviews lean towards being positive, but I haven't personally shot one. I know for the money, it's going to be hard to beat no matter what, just because what all it has. But hopefully someone in here has an Arken and they can speak up. There's a reason to keep my scope sub 800, otherwise I have to take on a second job. Have a few rifles that would have to be changed. Yeah, it gets tough. I mean, not a lie. I mean, I didn't realize till I shot that video that between the 4 rifles, it was like $10,000+ worth of stuff there. And it's, I don't know, it can get to be a lot. Was your goal to make it as heavy as possible or to balance it? Does it have the aluminum butt piece? Yes, yes, and yes. So I wanted it as heavy as I could make it and be balanced. The balance was just as important as the weight to me, but it really, I knew I was going to do whatever I had to balance it, but I wanted to stack as much weight as I could. I may still put another external weight like right here if I feel like it's too light, but I think right now it's pretty good. It's pretty freaking heavy. And yes, that is the aluminum, all the aluminum buttstock stuff. And it's got a bag rider, but that's about it. I mean, it's pretty much, besides the bag rider, that's about the only other thing going on back there. Yeah, you're right about that. Joe does not like Vortex. New Joe Biden stamp 0 cents. That's funny. Worst turrets I've ever seen are the Vortex strike fire turrets. Can't turn my hand, requires these turret cats. Found myself just ditch them using the Troy Industry sight tool. That's crazy. For $350, the Arken, yeah, and I didn't even know they're that cheap. Honestly, like they're pretty freaking. I don't know how you could even expect a lot out of a, for what it has. Like if you can see through the scope, then like you've already won for $350. Like, I wouldn't expect it to have amazing glass, but at $350 for the features it has, like if the turret, or if the reticle is visible and you can put it on a target, then at that point, any more glass clarity is just bonus. Chris, good class. Why drive a 10-year-old truck? That's funny. This is a loaded question and one with many personal preferences, but any recommendation on a chassis for Remington 700 footprint? I mean, yeah, it's going to be Manners TCS, MPA, BA Comp, NDT, ACC. Those are like probably my favorites. Foundations are awesome. I haven't shot one yet, but those are all really good. It's really just going to be personal preference. Probably already mentioned I'm late to the cast. Happy to see Jez in that Vudoo. Yes, we did bring that up. And basically, I got rid of it not because of any fault of the Vudoo. It was really just a combination of the Vudoo and the ammo I wanted to shoot were just not jiving. And shooting the ammo I have is more important to me than keeping the Vudoo, so the Vudoo had to go. You have all your bipods and arc rails. Have you tried bipods on front mount spigots to get the barrel more between the bipod? I haven't really seen a need to, and honestly, the only time I shoot a bipod is when I'm shooting like off the bench. In a PRS match, you're probably never going to see me run a bipod. Even on like a barrel, a lot of guys will shorten them up. I used to do that a lot. Now I just throw a bag down. Now, if I've got room to do it and the target is like extremely small, then I may run a bipod, but at that point it's going to be all the way in anyways. But I know a lot of guys run the spigots. Just for me, it's like what I have is plenty. Oh, an easy one. For sure the Game Changer. Like if you had to buy one bag without going in, Game Changer, OG. I like the pint size. It's a great rear bag and front bag. game changers, awesome. And if I had to go back and do it again, I would probably get the pint size with a sticky inside. That's like the next bag I need to buy because I don't have a sticky bag, and sometimes you'll need to put a bag on a leg, and the regular bag will slide down, whereas the sticky bag will kind of grip. Let's see. Hi, Josh at $8.75, very good, and he can buy it from Killer Shooting Sports. I'm guessing that's the target. Hey, Brad. Yeah, so I left active duty in 2012. I've been in the Guard ever since. So I was an E7 and decided to go to Warrant Officer School. So my school is next month, which will be a lot of not fun, but I'm ready to get it over with kind of deal. Procedure actually, I'm curious what's hanging in the background on the shelf to my right on the dual impact. So to your right, I guess would be the magneto speed. This, is that what you're looking at? If it's this, that's a magneto speed on the Wiser precision kind of mount thing. That should be okay if I don't knock everything down. But yeah, this is just the magneto speed. And like I said, it's on that Wiser precision mount deal, so you can clamp this to your Arca, and then it holds everything for you. But I think that's what you're talking about. If not, let me know. Let's see. Yeah, pint size, medium. Awesome trigger on the CZ. What is the advantage of getting a Timney? Pull weight. And it's a little bit more defined, and you get the option of going to a flat shoe. So the 457 has a really good trigger, but with a Yodave, you can get it pretty light, like sub-pound light, but you're still not going to get as light as a Timney can go. Timneys are advertised at like 1 pound. You can get a Timney much lower than a pound. Most of my Timneys are 8 to 10 ounces, somewhere in there, unless I purposely bring up the pull weight. So like my daughter's rifle, the pull weight on it's probably like 12 ounces, whereas the one on the Manners is like crazy light, probably 6 to 7 ounces. This one is probably like 8 or 9 ounces. But yeah, it's just the CZ trigger is stupid nice for a factory trigger, but it's a factory trigger. So far, I've only shot PRS only, so I am going to shoot a couple of NRL matches this year. But this is like like fiscally speaking, like calendar-wise, I'm still in my first year of precision rifle stuff. Now, of course, we're rolling into what would be my second season, but I kind of started late and didn't shoot as many matches as I wanted to. But I will shoot NRL next season, which will be like starting this summer. They'll have their finales, and then they'll start a new season. I'll start then. Let's see. In an NRL, I think base class snare is a match chamber to 4% worth the add MSRP hitter, the Varmint Pro, or is it too expensive? I don't know. I've got a couple thoughts on this. I would not purposely buy a rifle to compete in base class. I think all you're doing there is spending money and sacrificing things you would spend money on to get into a class that you're not going to stay in that has no benefit for you. Honestly, the base class is really meant to be like the old rifle or the rifle you have around and you already own it. Go shoot it. So as I can just tell you from experience, I built a gun for production, PRS. I shot like 3 matches. I think I won the 3 matches, or 2. I shot 2. I won 2 production matches and just decided then, I was like, look, I want to go open. But both barrels can shoot, especially for NRL. 100 yards, you don't need the match chamber, not at all, not to be successful. But if you think you're going to grow into open, I would just go ahead and build an open rifle and just shoot open. It's definitely not going to hurt you. I mean, you may not start off in the very top of the pack, but you're going to save yourself some money. Hi, Josh. We sent email cards about prompt Ely ammo barrel. Do you ever have any problems with Lilja barrel? No, my Liljas don't really have many problems with it. I know. I think what happened is they had a couple of barrels that the extractor release weren't cut enough, and it was never a problem with any ammunition until you went to the thinner rim thickness of Ely, and then people started having problems. Mine, however, I have not. I do know somebody who has had the issue, and they sent it back to Lilja to Carson, and they took care of it, sent it back, and no problems. But I personally haven't had it happen. Appreciate that, Brad. Yeah, Magical Amazing's right. The 457 factory triggers, some are going to be lighter than others, some are going to be better, some are going to be worse. But yeah, the Timney's going to be a better. Dirty, you've been driving for the last 40 minutes. I want to thank you for keeping me coming. Nice. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging out while you're driving. Looks like Devin, he's got some Arkens. I have 3 SH4 Arken scopes, 624, and a Vortex Diamond Tag, nothing Arken. And yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, I would buy I would buy an Arken before I bought a Diamondback Tactical. What's up, Jason? No, I don't break them in at all. I clean the barrel when it's new. And when I say clean, I push like 2 wet patches down it, and then I just shoot it. From a clean barrel, you just need to realize you need to foul it in 5-10 shots, get the lube of the ammo in it. If you switch varieties of ammo, like SK to Ely or Ely back to like Center X, it's good to put a couple down the pipe and get that new lube in there, or clean it in between. But yeah, you don't really need to break it in. Yeah, all my triggers are light. I have no problem. That's the lightest trigger I have. I could hunt with that easily. Even at like 6-7 ounces, I can still prep the trigger. I've never had an issue with like NDing a rifle or anything like that. Very cognizant of trigger and where my trigger finger is. I think that's from my USPSA background, where it's very easy to get DQ'd by doing things like reloading with your finger in the trigger well. So I'm very hypersensitive about where my finger is on the trigger and what my trigger finger is doing and if it's applying pressure or not. So I will hunt with any of these, and if I have a hunting rifle, it gets a super light trigger. How much difference is there between something like an Athlon BTR compared to Diamond inside of 200 yards? Coming from Lifetime. Well, so the BTR, I think you're probably talking about the Athlon Argos BTR. Really, it's just the features. I like the Athlon a little bit more than the Diamond. I hate the Diamondback, so I would say get anything but the Diamondback Tactical. But, it's really just look at the features. The price is really going to kind of give you a good indicator of how clear the glass is going to be. Yeah, I haven't been getting any, Brad, as far as the SK, but good shooting. Just keep an eye out there. They have it at amazing prices, but you have to be quick, obviously. I went for the CZ instead of your channel. Hopefully, a Tikka will be crap compared to the CZ. I mean, they're good rifles. There's more for the CZs, which is why I have 4 CZs and I don't have like 2 CZs and 2 Tikkas. There's more options, which for me is just as important as the rifle, because you can make a rifle shoot, but if you've got no options for aftermarket stuff, barrels and stuff, where it's just hard to get them, it's kind of what more important to me. So I'm gonna get a Tikka, and I hope it's not crap, but I see your point. So, VOD squatting's open, nice. So I will probably miss being squatted and get in a crap squad. I got a 16-inch PPC stock trigger, put a nice grip on it. I can keep up with much right. Nice, yeah. Yeah, the chassis one, like all these guns really, like you don't need the aftermarket trigger. If you have good trigger discipline, like and technique, fundamentals are good, then you can shoot any trigger. The trigger is just going to make it more fun for you to shoot. It's going to be easier for you to shoot. Whereas like a 3.5 pound factory trigger, you're kind of coming up on that wall, and now you're starting to have to like tell yourself, all right, like really follow through, pay attention to what you're doing. You start getting super focused on applying that pressure evenly and straight back. And when you go to something like a Timney, you don't have to put that much work into producing the same group. It just makes it easier, not necessarily better, if that makes sense. Wait, no, I haven't yet. I need to get a scale. So once I get a scale, I'll at least do a post on the community tab about it or something. But there's probably 5 pounds difference. This is at least 5 pounds heavier than the Manners, for sure, if not more. And the Manners it's got, not only does it have the weighted arc rail, it has tungsten in the front of it too. So there's tungsten shot in cavities in the front of that to add weight. And it's still lighter. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go through these. I'm probably going to jump off here in a few minutes, guys. Go eat some dinner with the family and make sure. So if you got something that I haven't answered yet, let me know. I'm trying to get through these questions. Just discovered your channel about a week ago. I have watched service easy force and Pro Varmint chassis and Arken is on the way to me. Nice, man. Yeah, you'll be happy with that. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, really the triggers don't bother me that much, but it's not really that like fun shooting, 3+ pound triggers. Kind of like, have you got your? So I have an IBI 12 twist here to test. I don't have my IBI in. So I've got one, and maybe if it's like it hammers, maybe I can convince the guy to let me keep it. But I do have an IBI 12 twist. So on the building series where we're building, we're going to go through like a KRG, the XLR, and then the MDT chassis. We'll pick our chassis, and then we're going to test the IBI 12 twist, and then hopefully by then the 22-inch Lilja will be in. Then we'll test the Lilja, and then we'll pick which barrel works better, and then we'll start pumping out the long distance stuff, and we'll start getting crazy with it. But yeah, we need to get through these stocks first. So I'm going to do a video on the KRG, video on the XLR, video on the MDT, and I really don't think the accuracy is going to change between any of those, but some people were interested to see if it would. I'm kind of the angle that unless you're having like problems with your other stock, when you go to a chassis, you're really not going to, you're going to improve more of the user feel and the ability of what you can do with a rifle by adding more weight or plates or other things versus, making it more accurate. So I use everything. I run a Kestrel 5700 Elite. It holds all my data. So I just do data cards for the courses of fire that I need. If I'm here at the house shooting, and it's not for like competition and it's not for money or something crazy, then I pretty much can just kind of like, I know the guns and the dope well enough that I can get on target 90% of the time by just kind of guesstimating, I guess I would call it dope. The Lilja is better. It's not like a landslide, but it is better, especially out to distance. The Lilja barrel is better. MTR, would you recommend removing the Victor cheek rest to clean or taking out the stock? If it's easy enough to remove the cheek rest, I would do that. But if it's screwed in, I would just be careful that you're not like, going to jack up your holes and then have to go to like another upside screw and those kind of things. I used to pop the action out a little bit before I made it like easier and removable. B14R is a great gun. Nothing wrong with the B14R. I've seen them be really, really accurate. The ones that I've shot, which is 2 different B14Rs, were like not finicky. They fed great. I didn't have any issues with them. For the money, I mean, if you're looking for 700 Remington compatibility, like, good God, that thing can't be beat for the money. All my bolt stuff is factory. I've never felt like I needed the striker spring, the extra power one, but I may try one, but I haven't needed it. What do you consider long distance for the 22? I would say 300 yards is kind of the start at ELR, but out to 400 is typical for us. I would say like what to me is like, we start getting like talking actual ELR for 22. I'd say 500 yards, 600. That's a poke. 400's a poke. I mean, it's not close, but yeah. 600 is what I would like extreme kind of stuff. Well, first convince you guys see now you want me to bag with Vortex. That was a little rough towards the Athlon. I mean, if you like it, stick with it, man. I mean, not everybody's gonna like the same stuff. I just personally don't like them. I have 0 1022 Timney experience. Sorry. I've seen 2 Gen bought a Diamond Tackleys. I had a Bass Pro. I had 2 weeks never bought them out. Sold at Argos is much better. There you go. Any plan to set headspace on the IBI? Just run it. So the IBI is a pre-fit barrel, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to drop it in and run it and see what it does. So, and for the barrel test, it's not going to be like solely accuracy. It's going to be like 100 out to like 400 yards. How much accuracy does it retain in a percentage versus the other barrel? So, the accuracy is ultimately going to come from, you're finding that right ammo, but we'll need a lot test. So I can't afford a lot test for both rifles and then run them up. So I'll take ammo I have that I know is very consistent ammo. We'll run that, and like I said, we'll get kind of like a percentage of accuracy retained, and then whichever wins that, I'll lot test for that rifle, and that'll be kind of the barrel we go with. Go-to twist, minus 1 and 16. It's like nothing wrong with the 16. I'm going to play with the 12. Probably nothing wrong with the 14 either. And I haven't shot a Lothar Walther barrels since I was modifying 1022s, and that was probably over 10 years ago. What's up, bro? Athlon over Vortex scope for every time, yeah. Well, I'm just not a big fan of Vortex scopes. I just don't think they can compete with Athlon in the same price range. Can't wait till you get that rifle build because I'm going to build one on your results. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You need a 1022 trigger to go with Kid. Yeah, Kid 1022 triggers are freaking phenomenal. The best. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everyone sticking it out with me, hanging out. Hope it answered everybody's question. I'm going to try and edit and get a video done for you guys. I did the KRG. I'm just going to be totally honest. I shot the KRG Bravo video, and not that the video content was fine, but I was fighting the scope camera. I wasn't really happy with the footage, so I may reshoot it because I don't like to put out videos that I don't like. That if I don't want to watch it again after I make it, then I don't feel like you guys, need to see it because it's not good enough. But I don't know. We'll see what I can do. But if I end up using the original footage, then that will be out probably pretty quick. But more than likely, I'm going to reshoot that because I'm not real happy with it. But we'll get something out to you guys before midweek, something that's quality. So I appreciate it, guys. Hope everyone has a great day, great rest of your weekend, and Happy New Year's to everybody. And we'll see you guys around.